I don't know what his thing is. I'm pretty sure he's not homeless, but he is a bum by all means.
Hey,
I'm not sure if he's homeless, but he is a bum.
Yeah.
This spectrum just got a whole lot broader right there, actually. But like all of a sudden, now some of our listeners are not safe from that category. Right?
Grown-up, human, comic, people! Grown-up, human, comic, people!
This is episode 48 of Volume 2 of your favorite podcast, Grown-Up Human Comic People. Welcome back to the fucking show, everybody.
woo!
Yeah, how's everybody feeling tonight? Good? Good?
Full on tacos.
Oh, yeah, we had tacos tonight. It was taco night at my house. So, we just built ourselves a new podcast studio in the basement here.
We did it in the matter of 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it looks pretty fucking sweet, I have to say.
No, it looks real sweet. It's like
Yeah.
a lair.
Yeah. And like the surrounding room is like, because the room itself is pretty big, and like we only have this area lit with some dramatic lighting,
Yeah.
and so it just looks like we're in a room, and then like if you were to look behind us, it's kind of just blackness behind us. It's kind of cool.
We have like
Yeah.
some Batmobiles.
Yep.
Some
Yeah.
cool motorcycles or something.
You have a bunch of uniforms, a weapons rack and armory.
It's like an S&M dungeon. It's got a bunch of latex.
Yeah, you just see hints of things. You're like, wait a minute, I have a lot of questions about this room. Where are we?
You turn the lights on,
I
it's
like how you described that. We put a table in the basement. That's what happened. You're like, we built a new podcast room, and there's knights in shining armor, and there's ambience. No, the basement was already here, and a table got set up.
No, this is like legitimately cool ambiance.
Right.
These
It is.
lights and
Got fucking park cans, man.
dude, we got like 100-year-old
Theater
seats.
Yeah,
Like
fold
right
down
now,
theater
I'm
seats.
I'm sitting in like
What seat number are you in?
I don't know.
It's probably in. I think it's on the either on the side or
It's
maybe
on the
between
front of the chair.
Yeah, the front of the chair. Yeah. If you you have to stand up. I think maybe.
That
Yeah.
looks
Oh,
ridiculous.
just put up the one that's between the two of
Oh,
you.
yeah, right.
There you go.
But then I won't know
There you
if
go.
they.
That's seats.
I'll bet
Oh, I'm in number one, bitch.
Or are you in 3? Am I number 1?
But who's number one?
You are number 1.
Dan's number one.
I'm number one. I'm number one.
These seats were, we don't need to say where from, but these seats were literally ripped out of a theater in
Yes.
town.
Yeah.
I want
Yes.
y'all to know.
Yes, it doesn't matter if we say where we got the.
Oh yeah, these are from the
Yeah, the old.
like.
But if you didn't say that, then people are going to wonder, like, oh man, which place did they vandalize? And like, are they pissed?
Oh, that's fair. I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of. We could have left the mystery there. Jared, just bleep that shit out. You know, whenever we're yeah, just bleep it out.
Actually, leave hand saying like, oh, it's from that, and then just bleep it.
Just that little like, stupid sound effect. Find the dumbest sound effect you can and just put it over both those. You should write that down.
I'll forget if I don't.
Make a note of that. Yeah, here, I'll write it down for you. I'll just tear off a piece of this paper. Funny
Noise.
noises.
Funny spring noise.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, I haven't gotten here. Hand that, Sam. I haven't gotten to the intro of the show yet. It's been quite some time already. So, like I said, this is episode 48.
I don't know what the hell this even
It
says.
says funny noise. For those of you that don't know, my handwriting is
I can't tell if I'm holding it upside down or not.
Your handwriting reminds me of somebody writing in Sanskrit with Parkinson's.
It's just as funny that you called it Parkinson's.
I was trying to put together a way to give him some shit about that. You beat me to it. I was gonna say, yeah, like Sanskrit. I mean, that's pretty rare, but even rare is Parkinson's disease. I've never even heard that before. It took me a second to put that one together.
Oh, it's pretty hilarious.
Do what I can for you guys.
As I've said multiple times, Chris can mispronounce every word in the whole language.
In fact,
He
I
can
would
do
say I have never met anyone as intelligent as Chris, who is far, far above average intelligence, and he mispronounces everything. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
Well, I compare him to I said before. I think I said this before, even on the podcast. Like my mom would say, "Oh, are you going to watch Who's Afraid of the Dark?" Mom, are you afraid of the dark? It's not that hard to remember that one sentence.
Right.
We say it all the time.
It's like I care so little about what I'm saying. It's not a reflection of intelligence. It's a reflection of I don't need to bother myself with these extra letters, these extra consonants. You know?
Okay. So I don't know if anyone else does this, but I will find myself. This is like a sick fucking I don't even know what it is, like a little mind game thing. But if I know someone is interested in something and I know they're really into it and that annoys me, then I will intentionally mispronounce that thing. or say it slightly wrong, or leave it just to fuck with them a little bit, or just to indicate that I don't give as much of a fuck about that thing as they do. Is that just me? Am I the only person?
I do that all the time.
Well, I just started doing something else.
Right, I don't know if it's passive aggressive or what, but I definitely.
Well, what's funny is the more inane the thing is that they're into, the more you could do that, and then once they lose their shit about that, you're like, really, man? You're fucking losing your shit about claymation? Claymation, this one obscure claymation from the late '80s. That's what you're doing here.
And you have to call it one time. You have to call it clay motion. Claymotion. Claymotion. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Claymotion. They're like, it's claymation for fuck's sake.
Well, okay. Not to get. I worked with a girl who was a fan of, as I called it, Michael Bubble. And she's like, "It's Bublé." I'm like, "Why? But it looks like Bubble." And she's like, "No, it's pronounced Bublé." And I'm like, "Does he sometimes? If it's raining, does he step in a poodle?" And that was whatever. Yeah.
I would. I think it looks the most like Bubla, or Bubla, Bubla. Because I think there's only one.
There's only one B. I think.
I call it
hate
Booble.
that I know that.
Booble, yeah, Booble, yeah.
Booble's good.
Booble,
Michael Booble.
It does look like Bubble too. Any of those would be.
Yeah.
It is certainly not Bublé.
Yeah.
No.
Fuck you, sir.
You know how I know that that's true? I pronounce it Michael Bublé, so we all know this is obviously incorrect.
Yeah. Sorry, Michael Booble. Chris is the deciding factor here. So you can find us at grownuphumans.com, epicastnetwork.com/grownuphumans. Check out Epicast. There's lots of cool podcasts and stuff on there. Chris is going to be doing a podcast with Trevor, who has occasionally on this podcast.
Has Trevor ever been on this podcast?
Yeah, a couple times. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Walking Dead thing we did one time.
Yep.
Before I was
I think
on the show. then.
or you were falling asleep drunk. One of those two.
Might have
Maybe.
been that, too.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I
Anyway.
don't know.
But it's going to be in the pit, right?
Yeah, In the Pit. So that's going to premiere. When does this come out? So this comes out this upcoming Wednesday.
I guess.
In the Pit's going to premiere with Super Bowl weekend in tandem with that, and we have a lot of guest celebrities that are going to be on there. I can't announce anything just yet because I don't want to jinx anything, but check out the In the Pit. We're on Instagram, Facebook. I think most of you already know about it, so I'd kind of beating a dead horse on that one. But anyways, it's coming out soon. Thanks.
Yeah. So rate and review us on iTunes and Google Music and all the other podcast apps. It helps our visibility. We'd really appreciate it. And we're going to have a Patreon up too soon as well, so that we can maybe if you like listening to the podcast, you can make a donation or whatever to help us keep the lights on here, and
Because Heaven Hill doesn't by itself.
Yes, that's true. We drink some Heaven Hill, and we really it's just a nice thing to the way I vote. Honestly, when I buy things, I feel like I consider myself voting with my money. So if I think of I hear a local artist or something I really like, I make sure to buy something from them just to kind of show my support. It's I'd rather somebody rob a Walmart than a local whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about, stealing shit.
I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You would rather shop local,
Right. Exactly.
than shop at Walmart.
Right.
And I guess the inverse is true. Robbing. You'd rather rob corporate than
Sure.
than rob local.
Exactly.
Yeah. So both.
I like that a lot better.
Rob corporate, support local.
Burn down your local Walmart.
Yes.
Walmart's got way more stuff to steal too,
Oh yeah. Way better selection.
and you can get away with it.
Oh yeah. Nobody gives a shit. Like their employees don't care.
Oh, they're
like,
dead inside. Those people are dead inside. If you ever have you been into Walmart recently?
Yes,
Any
I
of you? It's amazing.
It's
Oh.
dead inside, and even the people who are in there are kind of dead.
Yes.
Like it's in you going in there. It kind of, gravity increases the speed that the Earth is traveling around. The sun increases. You age much more quickly. All of the calories are much more dense. You get fatter faster.
You're saying there are relativistic incidents going on inside a Walmart.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. There's some of those people who fucking come out of there like busting out of their sweatpants who went in relatively attractive. Like they went in there, they thought they were just going to go in, grab some laundry detergent. Before you know, their cart's filled with like corn snacks and weird snacks in cellophane, and now they're disgusting. Nobody
called-
wants to have sex with them.
That's called the gravity of retail.
Ooh.
That sounds like a title for a documentary.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. And their demeanors change. Like it's what I imagine somebody who cannot pay a toll to cross the river Styx, and they're just sitting there. And they're just everything's gone in them. They know they're never going to get to the other side, and this is their eternity.
Oh, and they start getting so fat their eyes can't open. Like their fat foreheads start to like roll down over their eyes.
Ew. And they have to use the 2 pennies to keep their eyes open.
And then they have to drill holes in them to see through.
Oh God!
Watching everybody else cross to the other side into eternity.
Well, they're
Oh, my
they're
God.
sitting there like fucking eating like Swiss cakes.
Well, I just had a really dark thought. Like, what if this whole scenario was real? Like the river Styx was real, and like, but somehow your spirit could like lose the 2 pennies they put over your eyes, and if you lost them, you're just stranded on that shore forever, and you become like a fucking like degenerate goblin thing because you couldn't find your toll
There's
money.
That's a great idea. And like in the fat just keeps coming down over. It keeps drooping.
Yeah,
the
like,
fat
yeah,
becomes
like,
heavier.
Yeah, you become more. The longer you've been there, the fatter you get.
Oh man.
There's a whole society of these like fucking fat, horrible ghosts.
And eventually they get so fat that they just become the ground that people walk on to get onto the boat.
Yeah.
And they're just these.
Occasionally, you look up and there's like you're like stepping on someone's nose.
You just hear this sound.
Jesus Christ! Fuck.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Wow, it's been a while since we've done this. That went dark real fast. Record time. Record time, boys. Pack it up. We're done.
So we're not done. Why? Not by a sight.
Is that done with the introduction?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Go, find us on social media. We're out there. Holler at us. We love to engage with people on social media. Please hit us up with whatever your interests are. If there's a particular book you want us to talk about or a show you want us to talk about, since we cover a lot of pop culture stuff, we'll talk about whatever the fuck you want us to talk about. So hit us with some topics and we'll discuss them. I got no problem with that.
Well, I feel like the river Styx and that thing about like getting very fat and being in Walmart was an organic segue into something I want to talk to you guys about, which is salient for this time of year because it's a few weeks past New Year's. It's the 19th today. Mm-hmm. Yeah, quickly approaching the 20th, and people are making all these resolutions. In the end of last year, for me, me, like some stuff happened in my life that left me like thinking more deeply about things. It was kind of an intense end to the year. I have a few less people in my life. They haven't died. I still love them. They're still on this earth.
Hopefully, a few fewer people.
Fuck you, man. You just took that. And everybody fucking knows. They're less, fewer. You get it. Everybody got it.
It's funnier.
That's why I don't try and pronounce anything. I just don't get it.
You know what? I'm taking Chris's route.
So this is actually my fault because I've been doing this stuff to you guys so long you don't care about language at all anymore.
I never cared about it.
Okay.
Way
Yeah.
before I met
Okay.
you.
The distinctions between less and fewer were never like that was never a thing that like I cared about.
That never even became a thing until they did it in Game of Thrones, and then it was something that people talk about all the time.
It never
now.
became a thing in my life till Jared started doing it. Fuck Game of Thrones.
Somebody I dated started doing it to me, so that's not my fault.
Yeah, so you want to pay homage to her for? You want to pay homage to her?
Yes.
No, he would have said homage.
Yeah, fair enough.
I would say homage.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I was going to take that in a different direction. I was gonna say, hey, shit, I thought you were dating a girl. No.
Very vaudeville. Very vaudeville.
Yes,
2
yes.
points.
But so the end of 1 year, the beginning of another. I mean, these are like arbitrary distinctions that they don't even line up for all cultures, right? But like for us, and for most of the people we know, the 31st was the end of our year for all intents and purposes. And having, and I had knee surgery, which was like a really big fucking deal for me, and then having fewer people in my life this year than I did last, I started thinking about resolutions and just in happiness, in how I think the intention of people having New Year's resolutions is like their intention to be happier, to become happier.
Sure.
At the realization of your New Year's resolution, you will be happier.
Right.
But how many people do you know that like stick to their resolution for an entire year?
I can name only one off the top of my head that I can ever think of that actually stuck to the whole thing, and it was Robin being nice to Chris for a whole year.
100%
actually
true.
did it.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it.
Wait,
I can't either.
She set a timer on her phone. Like her New Year's resolution was to be nice to Chris Gable for the year of 2017, and she did it for the whole year.
but what did that entail?
Not saying
saying
everything
mean
she
things.
usually says to Chris.
Yeah.
So
So you guys were at the same New Year's party, right?
Yes. For a bit.
What happened after midnight?
No, she wasn't.
I was at a show, and then I came here.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't go to her party.
I did, but I went early.
Oh, okay. So she was still nice to you then. So was this the first time that you saw her since New Year's?
No. I've seen her a couple of times. She's having a very difficult time being mean to me.
Really?
Yeah, she's very upset.
She fell out
about
of practice.
it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's very difficult because it used to just. I mean,
She used to be really good at it.
all of her like zingers.
Yeah.
I mean, she could be mean to most people. She's a very cruel person.
Yeah.
But she's especially funny with the zingers when it comes to me, and she normally nails it like every time. And then she said, "No, you know what? I'm gonna be." I don't know what even prompted this. I have
I'm
no
not sure
idea.
either what.
I don't know why. I didn't say I feel bad about it. I mean,
No.
it's really hard to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, it is.
You'd have to say something like, I don't even know.
I
don't know how you could hurt my. I mean, you would have.
I think if I wanted to hurt your feelings, I would say something about you that you and I both know is an absolute lie. Like anybody who would hear it would know it was a lie, but I would be saying it with like
because you were trying to hurt him so bad that you would say something so ridiculous that it doesn't matter what it was. You'd be like,
Yeah.
it's basically just like, fuck you no matter what.
Right. Just an absurd assertion that's like this, and it would be like, and I think what would hurt your feelings is the fact that somebody that cares about you and you cared about was intending to hurt your feelings.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think if like one of you guys did something like to like really like just like to make me cry. Like
Yeah.
You tell we were trying to make you cry.
yeah, like you
For some reason, I just visualize myself giving you like a horrible Indian burn on your arm, like for like a long time, like multiple times, just like back and forth, just looking you right in the square of the face, like.
I would be really upset because that's not only is that annoying, that's really painful.
I know it hurts a lot.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
kids are cruel.
I honestly,
You get that weird smell too.
yeah.
The weird smell from an Indian burn, man.
Yeah, and I can't call the police on that.
No,
like I
you
can't. Officer, he's giving me an Indian burn. You're like, you're 33. Deal with this.
Yeah, but then you could be like, yes, this is an adult male giving another adult male an Indian burn. When's the last time you saw anybody but a kid doing that? He has man strength. This fucking hurts, man. Yeah. He's going to tear my skin.
I have this weird black shit all over my wrist now.
The cop looks at the other cops like, you want to take this? Like, nah, can you imagine the smell? No.
Hashtag, can you imagine the smell?
But no, I think Robin, if there are any resolutions that could actually result in increased happiness, is like, I'm going to resolve to like be nice to someone. You know, but so much of it, so many resolutions. I'm gonna fucking stop eating this thing. I'm gonna
lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that's universal?
Trying to do that?
Yeah, like this people being
No,
just like
I fucking hate that
predisposed
shit.
with,
No.
like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight this year. Oh, I'm gonna do all of these things that I mean only affect you.
Yeah, I think that
It's just like you. That's it.
that's the thing. I don't think it's universal because I know most of the people I know don't talk about having made a resolution. Like I can't like I don't think anybody that was here tonight told me that they were going to my New Year's resolution is, and then said something. Like nobody said that to me. This whole New Year's party, anything. Like
I mean, I feel like we are also in a bit of an echo chamber.
That's
with
probably true.
our group of friends,
Maybe,
and with the people in our lives.
Yeah. So maybe we should ask the audience. Like, are there people how many of you out there actually made a New Year's resolution, and how, if you do, and if you have in the past, how successful have you been in keeping it?
And more importantly, like, did you ever stop and so you made these resolutions, like, here are your resolutions, and then ask yourself,
Why?
what is at the heart of this? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because, I know personally, I never think to make a New Year's resolution because it's like if I want to do something, I just fucking do it.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I want to do? Fix this thing? Okay, well, I'll just start on that as soon as I have some extra time.
Right.
It's not like, I'm like, you know what? I've really been intending to go back to the gym. I just really can't. I just can't go. I just can't get myself off the couch. It's really difficult. No, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not that kind of person.
But I think what's like really cool, or that feeling, and I've experienced this, a couple times recently, is when you're doing something shitty, and you realize, like, in that moment of doing that shitty thing, you'd be like, I can change that right now.
Yeah.
I can just stop doing it right now.
Yeah.
And then you stop doing it, you're like, holy shit, that was fucking liberating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I fall into that too, like, oh, tomorrow when I wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna, I'll do, I'll start doing this, like, healthy thing tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then it's just, whatever, 1,000 tomorrows. Like,
Sure.
Tomorrow, there's some really great saying about tomorrow. Tomorrow, the place where 90% of all productivity and ambition is realized.
Yeah.
Something like fucking brilliant like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, whenever you just, like,
You're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to actually take a step on doing that right now. Like the first time I'm going to do it right now. Like I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do as much of that thing as I can do right now just to start it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
But no, I'm interested in, like, why. So then why do people stop? So they start because there's this, like, perceived. I think, I don't know. This is just like me guessing, but I think that people are looking for, like, a greater sense of happiness,
Sure.
and that's why they make these resolutions to begin with.
Maybe. Or maybe I think maybe a lot of people have like a sense of like I'm not doing enough. It's not that it's maybe they are unhappy, but it's because they feel like they're not living up to their potential because they might be in like a dead end job, or they might have like a bit of relationship they're not really happy with or whatever, and they're like they have like this kind of existential like distress that they can't quite put their finger on. So like, well, maybe if I got in shape, I'm gonna get in shape. If getting in shape will make me feel better about everything.
Yeah,
that's. I mean, maybe sure a little bit better, but like not. Maybe you're not even addressing the thing that's bothering you or whatever.
Exactly, and I mean that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like that I think that the end result, the end goal of making these resolutions and realizing them is a greater sense of happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so why the fuck doesn't anybody fucking fulfill them? Like, why the fuck do, like, the majority of people, like, renege or give up on their resolutions, you know, oftentimes before the end of January? You know, like, oh, we shit the bed on the gym. Oh, I started smoking again. Oh, I started, you know, whatever your fucking thing is. Like, why?
I think about this kind of a lot sometimes. Like, why do people do things? And I'm thinking, okay, so maybe if there's an initial, like, kind of whatever distress in the back of their mind they can't put their finger on, then, you know, like, okay, in a normal situation, like, if you have a bunch of stuff that's, like, bothering you, doing one thing's not going to fix all your problems. Like making your New Year's resolution being like, I'm going to lose weight. That's not going to solve all of your problems, or maybe any of them, unless your problem is being fat as fuck. Like, if your problem is anything other than that, like, you have, like, more just, like, stressors on your life, like, getting in shape is going to, like, help you feel better physically, but it's not helping you with your other problems. So, like, maybe those people, they take that one thing and they're like, I'm going to help. This is going to make me feel better. But then they know that that's not the thing that's going to make them feel better, so they get discouraged. Like, they might do it for a little while, and they're like, okay, well, you know, I'm feeling a little bit better about myself. But really, they're not. They hadn't fixed any of their other problems. They just like got tired of doing that thing that they thought was going to make them feel better.
Huh.
You know,
I'm sorry. No, you go.
I think it just comes down to people just don't want to deal long term. Nobody does. It takes a certain internal drive to realize a long-term goal. And a long-term goal for most people is shorter than you actually realize. Instant gratification is a real problem, and we live in the age of instant gratification. Yeah. So if you decide, well, you know what? This is the year that I get the promotion. Okay. So I mean, weight loss is obviously, that's the first thing. But, like, okay, that's a realistic goal. You want a promotion at your job. You need to identify what would get you that promotion. Is there a position available above you that is available? Okay. Do you have the skill set to get that? Can you achieve the skill set if you don't have it? Do you have the drive? Do you have the determination to get that done? And you psych yourself up for that. You go, okay, I'm going to meet all of these requirements. So here comes mid-January, and this position opens up. But it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be. Your original determination was, I'm going to make more money, and I'm going to be in another position of power. But at that point, you realize that you need a new certification, okay? So, like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Now I can get that certification. I'm probably smart enough, but it's going to require 2 weekends in February in order for me to dedicate my entire life to this, and I'm going to have to spend some of my money that I normally allocate to other bills or to fun with my friends. You know what? I could probably bump that certification off. I have Dan's birthday coming up, and we're going to Ohio for a weekend, and I already promised him I can't do that. Okay, so I'll bump that. That's fine. No big deal. That position's still going to be there eventually. And it's those little things like that that landslide, that determination falls away because instant gratification of what you want in life usually takes over anything else.
Yeah, like all of your dreams are killed by deaths of 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
Just little
that's
things like, I'm going to lose weight. Oh, man, we have that extra Twinkie. I told them to take that with them. They left it here. Well, I'm not going to throw it away.
That's a waste of food.
It's a waste of food. Yeah, there's kids starving. I'll just have it's just one Twinkie.
And you know what?
It gives me energy.
Exactly.
And I'll take the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. And I parked way far away, parked another extra block earlier today.
Yeah. I get lots of exercise. I walk to the building next door. That's a real quote.
Oh my god!
there is no building next door to the White House, by the way.
but I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to talk to people, and I haven't really fucking gone out or done anything this year yet. I mean, I went to New York. That was fun. But I haven't really engaged with people who I don't normally engage with. But I want to talk to them, and I want to find out. Like, it's interesting to hear what were your resolutions, and, like, how far along are you on them? and then asking them like why? Well, like what's the intended outcome?
Right.
You know, like because the intended outcome isn't like losing weight. So okay, well, but or getting a promotion. But then what? Like, so I'm losing weight to this. I'm getting the promotion for that.
Yeah.
Because those things in and of themselves are just it's mechanical and quantifiable. You know, it's not a qualitative experience. It's a quantitative way of making a resolution. But I feel like to make any sort of real change, it has to have some qualitative component that's like, I want to lose weight because if not, I'm going to fucking die from a heart attack. Or, you know, it's something that's been bothering me for years. I just feel uncomfortable in my own skin. Or I want to get this promotion because my goal is to, you know, be in these roles, or to travel because I need to expand my horizons. Whatever the fuck. But I feel like those are like big ones, you know, like travel more, get a promotion, lose weight, or get in shape, whatever, something in the fitness sphere. Yeah. And I mean, I'd say those three are like fucking huge.
Yeah, those are definitely the biggest ones.
And they just they you know, America's just getting fatter and fatter and fatter and dumber and dumber and dumber. And the second part, I don't know if that's true, but I mean, let's
We'll just for the podcast, we'll just say that it is.
Yeah, well, the current affairs suggest that America is not getting smarter.
Yeah.
So, I'm really interested because I
think
I have a belief. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I have a belief that if you're, you know, anything is possible if the reason why is good enough. Right? The reason why you're doing something, if it's good enough, then you could do fucking almost anything. You know?
I think that as long... I agree with that. I would say also if your willpower is strong enough, because like sometimes I know that for me, if I some of the times where I'm absolutely sure I can do something is because it's something that's real stupid, and the reason is stupid as fuck for doing it, but I'm doing it just to like prove someone wrong, or like to spite somebody.
Right. And so it's not that the thing is dumb. It's that in your life, spite is a
powerful driving factor for some reason.
Factor.
Yes.
Yeah, in your life, for sure.
I'm not sure how I should take that, but sure. Yeah.
I don't know that that's definitely necessarily like the...
Not like... Okay, like for example, if I... Right off the top of my head, whenever... so we did the bottle exchange thing.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris thought it would be funny to make a bunch of mystery beers by wrapping all of his beers up in wrapping paper. And he warned me beforehand. He said, okay, so something like one of these is a really good beer, a couple of them are whatever, and then one of them's awful. And I'm like, okay, cool. So so obviously I had to choose. When my turn came around, I had to choose a mystery beer from the mystery beer pack. And I got... As soon as I picked up, he was like, "That's the bad one." So I opened up.
I want to interject here that I did not pick it either. I made sure that somebody else picked the beers so that I wouldn't know who got what.
Yeah. So I was given the worst one, and I opened it up, and it is a bottle of cooking sherry. And so I'm like, "Well played, sir," but also, fuck you all the way up. And so I just cracked it open, and I took a big old swig of it, and I handed it to him. To his credit, he then took a swig as well.
And to my credit, so did I.
Yes, you did.
That was
Yeah.
fucking
And you
gross,
had nothing to
man.
do with this.
No, I had nothing to do with it. I still took a swig of it, and I wasn't the only one. Other people did also.
Yes.
I think we killed half that bottle.
we definitely
That's
did.
aggressive.
We drank half a bottle of cooking wine. So maybe
Yeah, we'll
we
get you
should
something
actually
drunk.
have resolutions. That's a really hard reality to face. 3 grown men in their 30s drinking cooking wine.
No, that doesn't say that we need to make any changes. It means we all have a very strong will to at least do the thing that the last person did.
Yeah, there's the solidarity in it was,
Yeah.
that the motivation.
Yeah, because there's plenty of people who would have been like, I'm not absolutely not drinking cooking sherry.
It's like, well, but if you did it, I'll do it.
Right. It's like, oh, no, you just did it, so I just watched you do it. So, yeah, no, I'll do that too. Yeah.
This is a very, very prolonged, delayed answer to the age-old question. If your friends jumped off a bridge, would you too?
I mean, like, the answer being, can I see, are they at the bottom waving at me to do it too? Like, if they are, yeah.
I think the answer is how much cooking wine do I need in order to get that done?
Yeah. How much cooking wine is involved in this situation?
But I would love to hear if anybody is listening, which I'm sure there's at least 3 or 4 of you.
Probably, yeah.
Write in, like post something on Facebook, and let us know what your resolutions are, and if you have a greater understanding of why you're doing it, greater than I'm going to work out more so I can lose weight, because I guarantee if your reason is to lose weight, you will fail. You've probably been fat for a long time, and you're okay being fat. Like, like it's, to... the fitness-related ones are, or traveling more. It's like, well, for what?
Yeah.
Like, the what has to be greater than the what has to be greater. The why has to be greater than the what.
Yeah.
You have to be able to say this because.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, let us know. In fact, I think that what people should do, I just thought of this, you should make, if you don't already have a YouTube channel, make a video and then share it with us, and then we'll share your video, and then we'll have some extra media to just throw out there to all the fans, and everybody can watch through each other's videos and see what silly shit pops up. Because I love when people make stuff.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Everybody has a video capability on their phone now.
Yeah.
You can make a quick video telling us your resolution, make it weird,
Yeah.
make it uncomfortable.
Yeah. Show yourself doing it, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but make it be a real resolution.
Yeah.
Like, if your resolution is to, smother yourself in Hershey's syrup several times a week, fucking do it, man.
Yeah. And if you send us a video of that, we will definitely share it with people.
Holy shit. If you send us a video of that, yeah.
We have followers.
Yeah.
We don't have we're not Joe Rogan followers,
No.
but
People will see it, though.
we get thousands of downloads,
Yeah.
and people are paying attention.
Yeah.
You're going to be something
At least
famous.
talked about.
But just going back to this briefly before we move on, I would also like to know at the end of it, because I believe that at the end of all of these is to achieve some greater level of happiness.
Sure.
Whether it's, again, losing weight, traveling, getting promotion, these big ones. But at the end of your video, after you've smothered yourself in Hershey syrup and massaged it in, tell us briefly, how you'll know that you're happy. How will you know that you're happy? Because after you've done this thing for as long as you've intended to do it, how can you articulate the experience of greater happiness?
What does your finish line look like?
Yeah. I will know that I'm happier because I'll smile more. I'll know that I'm happier because I'll hug the people I care about longer.
I'll get more dates because my ass is not as fat.
Right, and I'll be happier because I'll be spending more time with people, and I am looking. I believe, I feel, I know that companionship is something that's important to me. So that I will know that I'm happier when I'm with someone in an intimate way, in a meaningful way where we connect. I'm happier then. So tell us what your happiness looks like. How you'll know that you'll realize greater happiness than you experience right now.
Yeah.
Because there's an interesting quote from this guy, and he was like, in my life, I was always lucky enough to know that I was happy when I was happy.
Yeah.
It was something paraphrasing, and I thought that was brilliant because oftentimes happiness is very retrospective.
Yeah.
You know, like you go through something crazy, something intense, you achieve something.
The good
and it's
old
fucking
days.
hell.
Blah, blah,
And then, you look back on it like, oh, that was great, you know? And it's like, well, no, it was probably just less shitty than it is right now. Or time has caused enough distance from those shitty memories that that you don't recall them as quickly and as vividly as you once did.
Right. It's like, when you get enough space, like anything's funny after enough time,
Most things. Unless you kill someone. You draw a list up and then you murder
Sure.
someone.
I mean, I suppose
20
that
years
depends on what
later.
kind of person you are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
that could be funny immediately. I don't know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I'm gonna give it's a solid maybe. But how do you know when you're happy? How do you even know?
Right. I was actually going to say something like that, where like I know a thing from like I never make a New Year's resolution because like not because of, but I think maybe one of the reasons might be because like, I tried it like I often find myself when I'm like spending a lot of I'm by myself or with friends or something like that. It's like, man, I'm having a really good time right now. I'm gonna just like take a second and be aware that I'm having a great time right now. And if you do that a lot, you realize like, man, I got a pretty good time most of the time. Like not like most of the time isn't shitty for me, and I should feel good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like that's a habit too.
Yeah.
Right? And they talk about this neuroplasticity and having these specific pathways that like neurons fire. I don't know enough about the neuroscience to understand these things exactly, but there are pathways that our mind just automatically jumps to. And so I think the practice of reminding yourself, or the practice of like taking the time to say, am I happy right now?
Yeah.
Huh. Yes, I'm happy. It becomes easier. It becomes
Definitely.
You kind of wear that. It's like it's creating a new path,
Right?
In the same way that you tromp a path through the woods,
Right. Exactly. Yeah. In fact, I think maybe for me doing that, I probably started whenever, like, probably around the back time you came back from Thailand, so like a few years ago.
Yeah.
I found it like I do it automatically now. Like I feel really great about it a lot of the time because I'm just like, man, I can really appreciate having a good time sometimes. You're absolutely right. Doing it often creates that that habit.
That
Yeah.
tromping in that a more distinct path.
Yes.
That's really cool, man. I didn't know that you had started doing that whenever you started like consciously doing that around the time I came back from Thailand.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Do you remember what the catalyst for it was?
I don't, honestly. I really don't. I don't know. I'd
Did
have to think
something
about that.
happen, or were you just like I'm finding myself bummed out more often?
No.
and I don't want to, or-
I'm going to say it was probably the opposite because I think I had already been doing like working for myself around that time. I think like maybe like before that I was doing it before that, but like it was starting to like flow really easily at that point.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have to spend as much time thinking, like worrying about it, and then it was just like a kind of a routine, and then that's when like if you can do a job that doesn't feel like work, and in fact, Jana Evans just said this to me the other day. She was like, it sounds like if you could do a job that doesn't seem like work and make a comfortable living, that's just like awesome. It's like, yeah, it kind of is, because then like that opens everything up to like it's like all your free time becomes like even more free time because you're not worried about work. You're just like doing whatever, So I think that was probably part of it, just being able to like focus on feeling better all the time because I'm not worried about like, oh, am I going to pay the rent? Oh, am I going to have to whatever? Like money not being an issue either. That's a huge factor.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Because I remember, you and I have been friends for a long time, but we spent a significant amount of time together prior to me leaving Thailand. But then, whenever I got back, we really just started spending tons of time together.
Yeah.
And it was me now versus me then. Like I'm a very different person in that regard too, where I'm not as prone to these like dark periods. And, But it was a conscious decision, right? Like through that, in the same way that you consciously decide, I'm going to think about things this way or that way. I think it was around that time that I had this epiphany that, you become the people that you spend the most time around.
Yeah.
And I started taking that very seriously. I realized that I'm a person who's just predisposed to like being melancholy and overthinking and ruminating and being anxious and all of this shit. And I think a lot of people are. And I think it's probably one of the greatest diseases of modernity is this like rumination and depression, and feelings
there's
of
so
like
much
alienation and
so much more time. Like so we're not worried about surviving really. Like
No.
like in the U.S. it's like pretty. You don't. Most people don't have to like worry about like, am I going to get eaten by a bear?
Right.
Like no.
or
probably
am I
not.
going to starve to death?
Yeah, it's
Or
like
am I
people are
gonna-
not going to starve to death. Like the bread is super cheap at the store. Like if I went up to someone outside of, I could probably be in my underwear and be like, "Excuse me, I could tell you what happened to me, but like I just need like $1. I need to go in there and get some bread, and then that's it. Like that. You can
absolutely. You could ask somebody. Even not, I don't need $1. I just need you to get me a loaf
Sure,
of bread.
they'd be like, yeah.
Can you please get me a loaf of bread?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You will have it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
This is why I hate the homeless. Get a fucking New Year's resolution, you goddamn bums. I could walk up into any self-respecting person and say, "Excuse me, sir, buy me a loaf of bread." And he'll be like, "Yeah, you're white. I'll buy you a loaf of bread."
You wouldn't have to be. I'm pretty sure that like 6 out of 10 times any person could walk up to like someone outside of a grocery store and be like, "Excuse me, I'm very hungry. Will you buy me a loaf of bread?" And that person would say yes. Like, okay, yeah, it's $1.
Furthermore, you could walk inside the store, speak to an employee, and say, "Please, I haven't eaten in a long time. Can you give me something that you're throwing away?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
In fact, they'll probably give you much more than you asked for.
And if you find a manager and tell them to put it on the store's Instagram that they're feeding the homeless, then you're definitely getting a bunch of free shit.
Here's some really dirty dude in his underwear giving like 2 thumbs up with like a bunch of hoagies.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, that homeless person will say, like, "Give me some stuff. I'll put it on my Instagram." That you gave it to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I got my phone right here.
Famous. Why are there are there any famous homeless Instagram people?
Oh, yeah, there's this one dude in Oakland who has a foot dildo for a hat. And
So it's a rubber foot.
So how does he post?
oh, no, he has an
He doesn't
iPhone.
use the hat.
And,
That's a phone.
yeah.
No.
I really wish,
How does he have connectivity? I
don't know.
guess Wi-Fi is free if you go to like outside
he's
of
not-
a Starbucks.
Or McDonald's, yeah.
He's not like, I don't know what his thing is. I'm pretty sure he's not homeless, but he is a bum by all means.
Hey,
I'm not sure if he's homeless, but he is a bum.
Yeah.
This spectrum just got a whole lot broader right there, actually. But like all of a sudden, now some of our listeners are not safe from that category.
not all of us at this table are safe from that category.
I'm absolutely a bum. That's
Yeah, for sure.
When you immediately notice him when he's begging, you can see because he doesn't beg too. That's the thing. This isn't a beggar. He is making a statement to some degree, and I'm not sure what the statement is. But he's very popular in Oakland, downtown, and I maybe South Side too. I'm not sure.
This is a Pittsburgh guy.
Oh yeah.
Do you know his Instagram handle?
I wish I did. I got an Instagram after I started seeing this guy because I work downtown. I know the bums.
Wait. Is he Instagram famous though? I thought that's what we were talking about. I thought we were talking about Instagram famous bums.
Oh well, I mean he has an Instagram and a Facebook.
Oh,
yeah.
he does.
Yeah, definitely.
But you just don't know it.
No, because he has like this this plastic board that he puts all this stuff on, and then he has an iPhone with like a charger, and he like plays really like fucking SoundCloud rappers while he's sitting outside with his dildo crown shaped like a foot.
I would definitely give this dude some money.
Man, it's really jarring. It really is. And And I know people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, I know exactly who you're talking about. He sits outside of Burlington sometimes on like one of those like fucking Turner's milk crates, and he just sits there and he doesn't ask for anything, but there's a tip cup.
Just for like, is he? It's like an oddity presentation where he's like he sits there, and if you look at him for like a second, you should probably put some money in the jar.
Now, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, it's been a couple of years since I've seen him since like
Oh,
Trump
what the
took
fuck?
office. Because
he's dead.
Trump
He's
took office just, I mean, less than a couple of years ago.
Well, about a year. Yeah, no, it's been about a year. That's yeah. So it's been about a year since I've seen him, but like everybody saw him, and apparently he was like super famous at Pitt because he just sat there with his weird dildo crown, and like he wouldn't bother anybody, but like people really like, I guess, liked his. He had dicks everywhere. There were
Okay, you
just
keep
dicks
saying
everywhere.
dildo crown. I thought you said it was a foot.
Both.
Wait, are you saying a foot long dildo?
No.
A human foot.
No.
Like a silicone, like
A silicone
a
foot.
representation of a human foot.
So imagine a crown
An
that
F-
that was definitely made out of like dildos but looked like a foot.
Made of dildos but look like a foot.
Wait,
Okay.
But what's a crown?
Okay,
Like
so
a sculpture of a foot made out of dildos.
Kind of.
Does anybody know what the fuck Chris is talking about? Send us
he
a
took a
link
bunch
on,
of dildos
on
and
Facebook.
put them together to make something that looks like a foot,
It looks like a foot. Yeah.
but it's definitely made of dildos.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So is it like 5 dildos?
No, like minimal.
Minimum 5.
Yeah.
So is it like a bunch
Is
of
it
tiny
supposed-
dildos to shaped like a foot, or is it like
So
like
he wear-
each
okay,
toe
It's
is
supposed
a
to
dick?
look like a crown, but it just looks like a foot.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
really what it is. It's supposed. It's
Oh, okay.
dildos
Oh,
forged to
I
look
see.
like a crown.
Okay.
But it looks like a foot, and like there's like the tips, the dick tips look like toes.
Okay.
So imagine that, but
Okay.
like it's a cross between like a crown and a chef's hat made out of dildos that look like a foot.
or the Pope's hat.
Yeah,
made of dildos.
Yeah, you're getting it now. Yeah.
Okay, I
yeah.
gotcha.
It-
All right.
this is
Wait,
a
this-
very unique human being.
Yeah, that's great. I want to see this guy's hat.
When you say that he's super
Yeah.
famous around Pitt and stuff, it makes me think that like in the Pitt bookstore they sell T-shirts with this guy's image on it. And stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not super famous.
Okay.
He is word of mouth famous around the Pitt area.
The kind of person that you'd probably say like, "Hey, remember the dildo hat guy?" They'd be like, "Oh, fuck yeah, yeah." I wonder what happened to that guy.
Do you guys remember Sombrero Man? He was in Oakland for a long time.
No.
He wore a sombrero, had a fucking what are the shakers called?
Maracas?
Maracas.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just a guy who panhandled and wore a giant sombrero and shook a maraca and sang unintelligible. No, I mean, like you didn't know what he was saying. It was just usually like I. And then one time I had this fucking shitbag friend. He was terrible, and we were in the car, and I was probably 16 years old. We were in the car on Forbes Avenue, and my buddy's in the back seat, and unbeknownst to me, he's fucking shining a flashlight in Sombrero Man's face, like from the back seat. All of a sudden, Sombrero Man loses his shit, and he's like, "I'll fucking kill you!" and like start charging out into the street. I'm like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then I realized, like, my dickhead, he's not my friend anymore. He's, dickhead associate, acquaintance, was shining him in the eyes from the car, laughing his ass off. Sombrero Man would have fucking broken the window. He would have knifed him,
Right.
and he should have knifed him.
Yeah.
Actually. Provoking this poor bastard.
Oh my god.
Anyway, he was also famous with Pitt students and everyone else in Oakland.
So we used to do comic books here, and we have one right here that this came out a little while ago, but yeah. So it's called Greg. You just read this. Would you like to?
Earlier this afternoon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Hercules. Well, I'm getting my bag open. What's the
The title is Hercules: Wrath of the Heavens.
Yeah.
I can do the.
Okay,
if you
yeah,
want it.
please.
So Hercules: Wrath of the Heavens. It is a. Is it a Titan book? Where's the thing? It's hard to see. Yeah, it's Titan. So the publisher is Titan. It is written by, I think it's J.D. Morvan. The art is Lookie and Olivier Thill. The editor is Trenton Braddock, and translated by Virginie Solevi. It sounds like that's French, so I'm assuming this is translated from French, maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, so give your... You can use mine if you want.
I'm almost there.
Jesus.
Okay. Well, anyway, so
Yeah.
this is called Hercules Wrath of the Heavens. First of all, this art is fucking crazy awesome.
Which you wouldn't know from the cover.
No, you would. The cover does not do this thing justice in any way at all. I think that's. Yeah, I think that's it. That's the. That should be it. There you go.
Right here. Yeah. I just noticed on the back of this book there's an advertisement. First of all, important things. On the back of the book, there's an advertisement for issue 1 coming in August of Quake Champions, and it's Quake in the font that we all are familiar with, know and love. And like Quake is sweet. I don't know.
Quake is sweet.
I love that game. Anyway, so I did not know what to expect from Hercules, and honestly, out of the batch of 3 that I read earlier today, I read this one last because I was thinking, like, okay, if I've got to like leave my house, if there's one that I am not going to get to, whatever, Hercules. It's I've read Greek mythology before a little bit, so it's not really itching for it. Plus, I looked at the cover and I thought, forget it. And then I open up. I don't know. I've never seen art like this before, but it's weird. So I'm not gonna. It's hard to describe that over the speech, but I'll say it's like.
It's almost photorealistic in some ways.
Yeah, I don't know how they do. Like, there's 3 dimensions. I feel like they're using different. There's one part whenever he goes to the fortune tellers, whoever.
Yeah, like it's like the fates, I think.
Yeah, I guess
talk to the fates.
That must be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when she's contacting the spirits in the ether or whatever, and I'm sure I'm getting this all wrong, but there's this. It's like it shifts into watercolors for like on top of the panel, on top of the images, the figures that are already on there.
Yeah.
Which probably, if you, I don't know how I can say this. I'll never be able to find the page because it's a pretty lengthy book, by the way.
Yeah, and the book's definitely worth the cover price because there's a lot of pages and the art is really, really good.
Yeah, but it made me think like when you see something of a different medium on top of that medium, it's like it's otherworldly within that. Or at least that's the impression that I make for myself.
Yeah. Especially when you start from such a realistic like starting point, like the original art is very like almost photorealistic. So and then when you get to a different style of art, it throws you way off.
Yeah, really. I guess I think of like shoot, isn't there like a video game like whenever they go to. Isn't it South Park game whenever they go to Canada? Everything.
Oh yeah, it's all 2D.
Yeah, it's just something.
16-bit.
Just something like that, I guess. It's like they're having fun with the method of delivery of that. So there's a couple moments like that in there where I think like, oh, they must have done this with. I don't know that much about different ways of doing art, but if they're doing pastels versus whatever. Anyway, it's like as if Hercules were living in an age of robots and machinery and stuff.
Like you're not really sure what time period this is supposed to take place in, or if like because they kind of say Earth things, but it's not clearly not any Earth that we've ever been a part of.
Yeah,
like I wanted the same thing where it's like, so is this space? Are they saying that the ancient Greek legends come from this space culture? Like, is this the actual legend of Hercules? Like, this is not the future. Like, this is our far past that we've forgotten somehow. Like maybe I don't know. Somehow all this tech was erased, or like
slipped through the cracks. In the oral tradition.
I mean, that's like the fucking Dark Ages.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or everything that's come up about Göbekli Tepe or whatever. Like all of these ancient civilizations. They're like saying that okay, well these civilizations are 100,000 years old or 75,000 years old or whatever, which flies right in the face of the what do they call it? The Neolithic era,
like the Bronze Age and the Stone Age and all everything.
Right. Like agriculture is only 10,000 years old. It's
right.
And then you could sustain civilizations that are larger than like 100. Hunter-gatherer civilizations ended 10,000 years ago or began to transition. Well, it's like, clearly they were sustaining life, on a much larger scale, like concentrated, much larger scale, 75,000 years ago or 100,000 years ago, or the difference in time between like whatever the pyramids, the building of the pyramids, and the Sphinx, and the like it wasn't all done in this tightly clustered. Yeah. Anyway, yes, that's a really interesting idea that maybe a million years ago there were people, and then an orange person became president of the country and nuked the whole world.
Right.
And then I don't know.
We lost everything.
We had to start over from amoebas again.
Yeah, exactly. Like a few people survived, and they told stories about Hercules, and they're like, because if you think about it, like if there was this massive tech, and like everybody died except for like a couple people. Like imagine if everybody died except for the people in this room. Like how equipped are we among the five of us without all of the support of society to like continue on with the level of technology we are currently at?
So you're saying right now in your basement, like for whatever reason,
let's see, it was us five, and then there were 5 women, so we could carry on. Like,
I get the hot one.
So wait, okay, so
we're gangbagging the hot one.
Jesus Christ!
I was just trying to be funny and joke Kyle for a minute, and then Greg has to get real gross. And you know what? It would probably be non-monogamous shared partnering. Okay, like this is I think the natural way that it'd be.
This is why #MeToo matters. Because the first thing, no, we're gangbanging the hot one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh man,
they are smaller than we are.
And we regressed. Yep, and this is what happens whenever all the lights go out.
Anyways, I probably have a week.
Exactly. Until all your tech falls apart, and you're like, well, good thing I have that book about how to build a fire outside.
That I can burn.
Yeah. That I can burn with this lighter that I found.
We were just talking about that. Yeah.
We were, yeah.
If I send you out into the woods, like how long before you come back with an iPod?
Yeah.
Like how many years? 1,000 years? How long would it take?
Fuck you, 1,000 years. We had to get a bunch of people. Right? We had to get a bunch of people, and we had to figure out like how.
If it was just you, and I put you out in the woods, and you had as much time as you needed, like you just had an infinite lifespan.
I was going to say,
how long would it take?
Dude, it's going to take me fucking 10 years to learn how to hunt well enough to like kill things regularly. It's going to take me probably another, in that 10 years, I'll probably also be learning how to just like grow normal food. When's the last time you tried to fucking have a tomato plant? You know what I mean? Like, and if you only intend to exist on tomatoes, and then try growing something that's like more fickle, because you can't just exist on tomatoes.
Right. Well, you have to first get yourself to a place where you can grow things really well.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to get the fuck out of here because like you want to go like probably maybe the Midwest, I guess, or like South, maybe South America if you can make it down there.
Yeah, man. I mean, somewhere that's like warmer more regularly.
Yeah, Because if I'm trying to put together an iPod, I'm not trying to like have 6 months of the year where I'm not going to be able to dig in the ground. Like that's not going to fucking work.
Right.
So
I just got to do a lot of digging to get that iPod going.
Okay, so you're saying like just if you put me on a planet that has no anything on it. Like
the whole point is like starting from scratch.
From scratch, exactly.
Completely
So I
from
need
fucking scratch.
So if I don't have to eat or sleep or anything like that, like I'm an actual immortal, and like all I have to do is make an iPod. From like, you put me on a planet that's like the Earth.
We'll throw that in there too. Yeah.
All right. So like first I have to figure out how to locate metals.
Yeah.
Well, first I have to figure out how to build a fire, and I have to figure out how to build a thing to like make. Like I have to make bricks to make a forge, and then I have to figure out how to smelt metal from rock or from ore.
You gotta mine that shit.
I have to mine it. So I have to build a bunch of tools.
Yeah.
And then I mean,
I don't know, man.
it might be impossible actually because like there's certain things you couldn't do with one person.
How many New
just
Year's
couldn't do it.
resolutions do you think it would take for you to get the motivation to make an iPod out of the woods.
Can you imagine like what the list of stuff you would have to compile would be? Like, you'd have to spend years just learning different maths, or you have to years creating maths because you would have forgotten any math that you like.
Yeah,
Dude, you've never learned math to make metal. Like, we have to acknowledge that, like metal was just a thing that exists. It's a thing that was already that just exists for us. How do you what stones do you need to make metal out of?
Oh, like there are so many things, like just base layers of technology you have to get to an iPod.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so crazy.
Metal.
Right.
Like, all right, how many years until you can make the case for an iPod?
Right.
The case. Nothing in it, no guts, until you can make fucking glass and some metal and some plastic.
Well, also theoretically, you're going to have to figure out a way to get two different, like basically all around the world, because all these materials you're going to need aren't all in the same place at all. Like, you're going to need different, like rare metals. Like, inside an iPod, you have gold, silver, there's palladium in there. There's like a bunch of shit that you need to like. It's just there's no.
So let's just say human beings have been, like Homo sapiens, sapiens, whatever the fuck we are, for 200,000 years. So I'm going to say it would take me alone approximately 10 million years to make an iPod. At which point I would have to then create the internet, which would take me another 1 billion years.
Also,
so in 1.2 billion years, I would have a functioning iPhone.
Oh, you'd not only need you're way ahead of yourself. First of all, you need to invent music.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need to invent music, too.
No. Because, I mean, I can make rudimentary music. Or, Camp Down Races, sing that song.
It's just you. Once you have an iPod, it's you listening to yourself humming Camp Down Races on an iPod.
and beatboxing poorly.
If you beatbox Camp Down Races on your own iPod. What?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You have to invent so many things.
That's what I'm saying, man. I already know music. I got that one covered.
I'm sorry. You also, for like to program it, you'd have to invent like every form of math as well, like calculus and trigonometry, probably.
the iPod version 1, it would come with a tape recorder.
I think that's just a tape recorder.
Yeah, you're right. Well, presumably, if I created the internet, in the billion years I needed, I would probably figure out how to upload things onto the internet. Then my iPhone, my smartphone would, it would be able to use.
Well, here's what I would love. If we could somehow simulate, like, if we had an omniscient computer and we could somehow simulate each one of us in this scenario and, like, just rewind and fast forward time as we wished, just watching, like, on a screen.
Yeah.
Just watching to see what each person would end up with. Like, after, like, if you just fast forward like a million years to see where everybody ends up. So how many of us just made like a hammock and like a few rudimentary games?
A million years, we're still sticking like bananas up to our head. Like, we're just trying to pretend like we made progress.
That's literally just you doing shit like going like for like a while.
Like holding something up here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? We got signal.
You just fast forward. There's like moments of you just like screaming at the sky. Let's not pretend that after a million years you wouldn't be totally insane.
Yeah.
You had lost your mind a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, but barring that, like so presumably you don't lose your mind because you're in pursuit of the smartphone.
Sure. Well,
you're purpose driven.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But like once again, it's a resolution the iPhone is the goal, but like no, people aren't guaranteed to get to that goal. Like you might have fallen. That might have been out of your mind 10,000 years ago.
Who the fuck are you going to Snapchat? Who are you going to send dick pics to?
Exactly.
Nobody.
Yeah, there are no boobs in the world.
No.
Imagine. Now, are there other animals? Because I imagine if you were by yourself for if you were by yourself for I wasn't actually going there. So if you're by yourself for 1 million years, you may actually end up killing everything else on the planet.
No, because those things are like fucking and like making more of themselves.
Maybe, but I don't know.
But like, would you eventually start to like devolve or like co-evolve with like some animals?
I don't know. Kind of like the Rick and Morty. Whenever he made that fucking fantasy world, and then the kid got stuck in it.
Oh yeah,
and all the offspring are his mixed with the weird fucking fake people.
Yeah,
and it's real fucked up.
That shit was fucked. But like maybe that would happen. You'd start to like develop hooves, or like your dick would get all weird, so you could like be like have sex with deer.
What I'm imagining is that eventually aliens find you who has been living by yourself on a planet for 1 million years. They would it would be like a horror movie, but you are the monster. Like they wouldn't. You would be so fucking scary and like maniacal. Because like think about like a modern person. If you didn't die, you didn't get any older. Like with all the cleverness of like one human being, because like human beings are extremely dangerous. Like we are devious things.
Yeah.
Like whenever you put somebody in a desperate situation, the shit that they'll come up with will surprise the shit out of you.
You put a human being in a dangerous situation and then put another human being in that situation with them, they will kill that person.
Yeah.
They will kill that person without ever having even the intention to kill that person.
Yeah.
They will kill that person.
Yeah.
Like you're drowning or you're like you're hanging off the side of a building or something. They will fucking kill that other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so imagine if you were just by yourself going crazy for 1 million years, a literal 1 million years, and then like another race of things showed up. Like I don't even know what would happen. They'd probably be very scared of you.
You can't even imagine being alive for 1 million years.
No, you can't.
I mean, imagine the oldest person that you know.
My grandma.
Your grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't even think that's fair because she might be immortal. I'm not sure.
That's true.
Yeah. She shows no signs of slowing down. How old is she?
93.
Yeah. Like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but we can fathom that. We can fathom that because somebody has experienced it.
Exactly.
And they can articulate it.
But a million years? Like no life that we know of has been around for 1 million years. We can't interact with something that's been around for 1 million years.
Right.
Right.
Kirk Douglas was just on the Golden Globes a few days ago. Did you happen to see it?
No, I didn't.
I
didn't know Kirk Douglas was still alive.
I'm not sure if he does either. But which is a shit. No, he does. It's just like I think he clearly had a stroke or something, which is sad. I mean, it's cool. Like to know that he's still alive and kicking. He's 101.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm proud of the human race that we can run the distance for that long.
Also, that's Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas is a tough son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, he's like. I watched Spartacus like a few days, like less than a week ago, and I think if he's 101 now, that movie was made in 1960, so he's like well into his 40s at that point. And it's like you look at him, it's like, man, this guy's like in the prime of his life, and he's taking on the Roman Empire. This is sweet.
Yeah,
and that was 50 years ago, more than 50 years ago.
Yeah, like Michael Douglas is the kind of person who, like, in some movies where you're like, man, I wouldn't fuck with Michael Douglas. He might beat my ass. Like falling down, you're like, I don't want to fuck in that guy's way at all.
Yeah.
But then you think like, what kind of person fathers a man like this? And like Kirk Douglas is, fucking Spartacus.
Yeah,
That's who.
But it is sad that like watching whenever like he came out in a wheelchair, which isn't that weird. Catherine Zeta-Jones wheeled him out in the wheelchair. And I'm surprised that they gave him a microphone at all because he definitely has speech slurring. Like it was, you can kind of like sense the discomfort in the room with all the celebrities watching him. Like they're all like, "Oh, sweet, let's clap for him." And then he starts talking, and then they're like, "Oh."
Why? What was it?
I'm not going to imitate it, but I just did, I guess. But it was a whole lot of that.
But just like breathing.
He was
Right.
breathing and it was like enunciating some vowels, and he would like talk for a few seconds, and then she would say, "Oh, we should introduce the nominees," and he's like, "Yes," and like, "Oh, that's what he was saying." My God,
Fuck.
so it's scary. Like it was not that long ago. It was sometime before 05, because I was working at Blockbuster, and a movie
Same time as cable.
Same time as cable. And a movie came out. I don't remember what it was called, but there's a movie that has Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas, and Michael Douglas' son, who's not an actor, and you can kind of tell just looking at the front cover. So just the novelty of having 3 generations in one movie. But that was earlier half of the first decade of the 2000s. So he was probably healthy then. It must have been something that happened between then and now that, like, now he's just about unpresentable. But at the time, he was still showing up. And so, I don't know. I guess anybody could have an accident or, health
10
downfall.
years is a bitch, man.
Yeah.
10 years? Man. Fucking look at some people 10 years ago. People in their 30s, man. People in their 30s who look good in their 20s, who were fucking killing it in their 20s.
Yeah.
You couldn't get near them, man. They had it handled. They were mentally sharp. They were physically fit. You wanted to be close to them. You wanted to be near them. And then all of a sudden they're 35, 33, 32. And you're like, Jesus Christ! I remember you in college. You were fucking incredible. And now you look like you've eaten turd sandwiches, an existential turd sandwich every day for the last fucking 10 years since the last time I saw you. What's going on, So imagine, I feel like that happens, when you're younger, 10 years happens at, the normal pace. And then, like, every decade after probably your 30s, I'd imagine sometime, like, 10 years is normal between 25 and 35. And then between 35 and 45, it's like exponential. It's like, 15 years. And then 45 and 55, it's like 25 years.
You're aging it relatively.
Yeah. Relative to the
Relativistic.
decade that is, the number of times you've been fucking going around the sun, man. Like, that's shit. So when you're looking at the difference between 91 and 101.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude actually just fucking aged like 70 years. He's fucking, the fact that he's still, around, I don't know.
His aging is now geometric. Aging at a geometric rate.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Because, you can fuck around a lot between 15 and 25. Not a lot's going to change.
It's basically the end of Last Crusade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You should have picked that fucking fancy cup.
Yeah, man.
You dummy.
All right. Okay, I forgot we were talking about this fucking Hercules book. God damn. Wow. That was something.
Well, check it out, guys.
So, okay, just to
Build
sum
yourself
this up really fast, this actually is a really fucking cool book. So, okay, someone was just telling me that we get very off track sometimes, and they're totally right. But no, this book is really cool. It starts off with Hercules being visited by who we find out is Hera, and she puts this thing in his head, and then he approaches his. If you're familiar with the story of Hercules, so Hercules, the story is that Hera is jealous of Hercules because he is Zeus's son by a different woman. Like Hera is Zeus's wife, but Zeus cheats on her all the time because he's the king of the gods and fucking it's good to be the king, I guess. And so he's always cheating on Hera, having a bunch of kids by other people. As a result, Hera tries to fuck with Hercules at every turn, every turn, and so eventually she somehow makes him kill his own family, and that's what happens. And then to atone for this, he's assigned these 12 tasks, and so this book is like the beginning of that whole thing. So it's pretty cool, but it takes place in this futuristic space. It almost looks like the world of, you know what? It reminds me a lot of Borderlands. Like the art looks like Borderlands a little bit too. And like some of the guns and shit like that. That gun. Like if you think Borderlands, you look through this book, like, oh, this actually looks exactly like that.
Wait,
it almost looks
Borderlands the book with the The guy who's
Video
taking
game.
over.
The game.
Borderlands is a video game.
Oh, what the fuck was the book that we read where the guy would grant you whatever?
Oh, 7 to Eternity.
7 to Eternity.
Yeah.
I got to read that. That's probably
Yeah, you do have to read that. It's
Finished,
fucking awesome.
but
It's not
The-
finished.
I mean, the art style to me is more.
It looks cel-shaded a little bit.
Yeah, it's it's a little more Metal Gear Solid though, like the
Oh, okay.
later Metal Gear Solid games.
Yeah, it's not
if
exactly the
if we're
same.
doing those comparisons. I see what you're meaning with that. Yeah, I definitely do. But this is a fucking weird ass book. I read this book a long time ago. So
Also, Jared, did you see who actually did the front cover here? Because we were just
where's
saying
it
how
at?
it looks kind of shitty on the bottom. Look at the signature on the bottom.
I can't tell who that is.
Walt-
Oh, does it say?
SIMON Simon.
Simon Noon?
It's Walt Simonson. He created Beta Ray Bill and did that whole run on Thor.
yeah,
He's like
yeah.
the most famous Thor writer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He just did the cover.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but like it's funny because all those old Thor covers, or his old Thor art is fucking awesome. And like this, I don't know. It's like I like Walt Simonson's stuff, and I
Oh, it
wasn't
says it right here.
impressed. No, does
Like in
it?
real small print.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I was not impressed by that cover. Like especially with the style of art inside the book, it just doesn't make any sense as to why they would use that cover. And there was a couple of different covers, and that might be the A or B cover, but I think the art on the inside of the book is way more interesting than that cover. It's cool that it was Walt Simonson, but like this is not. Why would you get him to do this book with like the interior art doesn't look anything like that?
I mean, that's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know why they would do that. But yeah, I really like this book. I read the next couple, so and if you guys are interested, they're pretty good. It's like it sets up this interesting world.
What is this
whole
character?
thing.
This alien that looks like a guy, but it's got titties.
Yeah, well, okay, so yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. That's like the mate of this other person, another alien being. It's kind of like a Mr. Freeze situation. Like he's
Yeah.
trying to save her.
He's got like an old man alien face, but he's got titties.
Yeah, there's boobs. I don't know.
you sound like a hentai apologist.
Every sentence ends with I don't know. It's hard to explain.
But I feel like that book rounds out this episode well.
Yeah,
Talking
yeah.
about resolutions and
Yeah.
aliens,
and
weird titties.
immortality and weird titties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, would you, if you haven't read it, would you read it? If you have read it, would you read more? Chris?
I read it, and it's been a while, but yeah, the art is worth it alone.
Yeah.
For what is it? It's like $6-7, something like that.
$6, yeah.
6. Yeah. It's a big issue too.
Yeah, it's massive.
It's like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
double issue.
Yeah, it's a
got like
double
a
issue.
thick cover.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really high quality.
Yeah, and the paper's nice. You know, it's like high gloss, very thick, which is we don't talk about the quality of the book a lot, but like whenever it's good, it's like it's worth
noticeable.
saying.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of like Marvel stuff specifically is just made of like printed on total garbage paper, but this is a really nice book.
Yeah, this is worth consideration.
Yeah.
I agree.
Jer?
Yeah, check it out. It's a little pricey though. There's almost no book that I would pay that much for.
That's fair.
It would have to be thicker.
Yeah,
Be like a double issue.
yeah. Greg? No, you?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool idea, a cool story,
yeah.
and the art's pretty incredible.
It sounds like 12 tasks. His first task runs the most, if not like all ish of this book. So
Yeah.
you could see how this can maintain interest over a pretty lengthy period of time.
Yeah. So
Like 12 books, like 12.
I would assume.
Yeah, that would be great. I love it when books have a finite run like that.
yeah, I
When
prefer that.
stories have a finite run. Me too.
Especially to know ahead of time, so you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And a story that makes sense, like a reason for it being that number.
Exactly.
Is, or like close to, maybe there's an epilogue chapter
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
Just so you know that they're not doing like a Lost thing where they're like, let's just see how long we can keep this going and make the most money.
Right. Because something that may not be worth investing 150 books into might very well be, cool enough to invest 10 books into.
Right. And there are certain things you can get away with doing that too. Like for example, a lot of comic strips.
Walking Dead.
I wouldn't. No, I realize you're being sarcastic. Yeah, in your Your sarcasm is correct on that one. Fuck that show. But if you're reading something like I don't know, like a Spider-Man or something like that, it's like you can just have ongoing adventures. It doesn't fucking matter. Like
Sure.
different arcs. That's cool. No one's going to wait for I wonder how Spider-Man's going to end.
Yeah,
it's not going to.
And you can jump in and out,
right?
As long as it's the same person writing.
Sure.
Like you pretty much know what's going on.
Yeah. So you would read more of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like this. I thought it was really cool. I forgot to mention. So the task in this book is the slaying of the Nemean lion, which, if you're familiar with Hercules, is I'm not sure if that's his first task, like traditionally or not. But what happens is in the real story, he kills the lion. He from there wears the pelt of the lion. But in this, he kills the lion, which is a robot lion, by the way. It kind of looks like one of the Voltron lions a little bit. Oh. But like if a Voltron lion was sort of a transformer too. And so that he kills this lion, and then someone combines its mechanical exoskeleton with his armor, so it becomes this lion head armor that he can retract and shit. It's really, really cool.
Yeah,
in the future issues,
fucking
it's fucking dope. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's really cool. I need to actually get the issues that have come out since then because I have not caught up, but it's pretty cool. All right, well, let's finish that episode. You've been listening to Grown Up Human Comic People. Thanks for listening. You can find us at grownuphumans.com, at epicastnetwork.com/grownuphumans. Rate and review the show. We would really appreciate it. Hit us up on social media if you want to hear us talk about anything specific. Go to my left, and everybody say goodbye. Oh, we never introduced ourselves. I totally forgot about that. Well, whatever. We'll do it now.
Right.
So say hello and goodbye. Chris? J-Man?
See ya.
Greg?
Yo, see you next time.
Dan?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yep. I'm Jared. And that's enough of that.
Grownup human comic people! Grownup human comic people!
Epicast.